Pro Tem Councilman Dana Hewitt.
Present.
Councilman Landry.
Present.
Councilman Murray.
Present.
Mayor Mosca is absent. Police Chief Dickinson.
Here.
Fire Chief St. Cyr.
Present.
City Attorney.
Wanted to thank everybody for attending the meeting tonight, April 19th. The mayor is out of the country on vacation. He's doing well, enjoying himself a much-needed vacation. Just wanted to explain to everyone why I'm officiating the meeting tonight. Every January, the council appoints a person from the city to act as mayor pro tem. And so in the absence of the actual mayor, I'll be officiating the meeting tonight as well as acting as mayor pro tem while he's out of the country. Madam Clerk, any special presentations?
Yes, proclaiming May 19th through 27th, 2012, National Safe Boating Week.
Go ahead and read the proclamation. Whereas each year the USCG Auxiliary proclaims National Safe Boating Week, which starts this year from May 19th through May 27th. It also is in conjunction with the Armed Forces Day. This is the kickoff of boating until Labor Day. The USCG Auxiliary is a civilian component of the U.S. Coast Guard, authorized by Congress in 1939. The USCG Auxiliary does everything that the USCG Gold Slide does, except law enforcement. Whereas the USCG Auxiliary and its members contribute thousands of hours each year to the SAR, Search and Rescue, promoting safe boating, boating classes, lectures, and training alongside with active members of the U.S. Coast Guard at no cost to the government. Whereas recreational boating is fun and enjoyable, and we are fortunate that we have sufficient resources to accommodate the wide variety of pleasures boating demands. However, our waterways can be crowded at times in a place of chaos and confusion. While being a marvelous source of recreation, boating to the unprepared can be a very risky sport. Not knowing or obeying the navigation rules or the nautical rules of the road, drinking alcohol or taking drugs while operating a boat, or choosing not to wear your life jacket when doing so is clearly not the smart thing to do, and are all examples of human error or lack of proper judgment. That is why we must continue to spread the message of boating safety, not only during National Safe Boating Week, but also throughout the entire year. And whereas on average 700 people die each year in boated-related accidents in the U.S., approximately 70% of these fatalities are caused by drowning. And whereas the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today if they had worn their life jacket. Now therefore, I, Dana Hewitt, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Harahan, do hereby support the goals of the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary and proclaim May 19th through the 27th National Safe Boating Week in Harahan, Louisiana, and urge all who use our waterways to acquire those skills essential to their own safety and that of others, and to apply them carefully. The City of Harahan is proud to present this proclamation to Captain E.D. Wellemeyer of Division 4 of 8 Coastal Region, but I believe he's not here tonight and somebody else will be accepting.
Thank you very much, Dana, Pro Temp, Mayor, council members. I'd like to take this opportunity to inform everybody to please wear your life jackets anytime you're boating. Make sure that you're properly fit. If you have children with you, make sure that you do not put adult life jackets on them, that they fit as well and nice and snug. Everyone should have a life jacket that fits to their body. I'd also like to take this opportunity to inform everyone who operates a vessel, if you're born under after January of '86, you're required to take a boating safety class. Otherwise, you could be ticketed. And if you don't mind, you guys like to have my members come up here so they can take a picture with us. Y'all would come up here. We're from Flotilla 4-3, and we meet out at the lakefront by West End, by the yacht club, New Orleans Municipal Yacht Club. Once a month on the second Thursday of each month. Everybody's welcome to come, and we invite everybody to come up there and see what we're about. If anybody want to be a member, we'll take all members. We have something to do for everybody. Say again?
Y'all gonna blow another boat up?
We haven't planned it this year, but we have done it in the past. We've had some very, very good skits where we've blown some boats up. We've had some exercises where we had some people supposedly drown, and other skits where we had jet skiers that were drunk and getting close to other boaters, splashing waters, and we had the law enforcement agencies after them, and of course they couldn't catch them, but had to slow down for them so they could catch them. But also, let me also say that through this week of National Safe Boating Week, we will be doing boating safety inspections free of charge to the public on both weekends, and if you have a boat, come on out. We'd like to inspect it. If you pass, you have all the requirements, we'll give you a decal on your boat. Thank you, guys. Thank you, audience. Thank you, council members, and Dana, thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
How's your deal?
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next special presentation.
Okay, proclaiming the month of May Brain Cancer Awareness Month.
Got some hot mamas up there. Daddies, excuse me. Good evening. I have the pleasure of reading this next proclamation. I thank our Councilman Dana Hewitt, Mayor Pro Tem, for allowing me to do this. I was a friend of a very great, wonderful person. He was named Mr. Gary Langang, and he died not recently, and due to some brain tumors and the difficulties we have from that. And him and his wife have been phenomenal people throughout the years. They have taught on the Jefferson Parish School System and other places. They're wonderful folks. They have done and dedicated themselves and their lives to the children of our community, to teach them and to be role models as both parents and mentors for others. So along with this, we are sad. We are very saddened about having the loss of Mr. Gary Langang, and I'd like to read this. Also, tonight, Miss Mona could not be here tonight. She is very ill, and she caught some of the flu virus. So tonight, in her absence, is Marianne and Keith Levine to come up. So if y'all would like to come up while I read this. Whereas about 13,000 Americans die from primary brain cancer tumors each year, or at a rate of more than 35 Americans per day. And whereas there are more than 126 different types of primary brain cancer, which complies to the development and effective treatment to the research programs. And whereas friends and family members have demonstrated their deep commitment by fighting for better treatment for brain cancer victims in their time of need. And whereas Mr. Gary Langang was 54 at his death, his family made a slogan, "Together we will fight this." They passed out more than 5,000 gray-colored ribbons to honor Mr. Langang during the month of May. Now therefore I, Cindy Murray, and Councilwoman and Mayor Pro Tem Dana Hewitt proclaim that to recognize and proclaim the month of May, Brain Cancer Month, with special recognition to their great father and mentor, to a very, very many people, Mr. Gary Langang. And that was dedicated on the 19th day of April 2012. Councilman Dana Hewitt, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Harahan. So along with this, we'd like to thank you very, very much. Thank you so much. And just know that Mr. Langang was a wonderful man, and he definitely did. I know him well, I know the family well, and they dedicated their lives to the children and to their city and to their friends and family. So thank you.
Just on behalf of Mona, she wishes she could be here tonight, but she's not feeling well.
She's kind of the driving force behind establishing this proclamation today for the city, and she's also done the Jefferson Parish. Establishing May as Brain Cancer Awareness Month, and particularly May 9th as Brain Cancer Awareness Day, which would have been Gary's 58th birthday. We ask everyone to wear something gray on that day to continue to raise awareness, and hopefully from this increased awareness we can have increased funding for brain cancer to eventually find a cure for this devastating disease. And on behalf of Mona, I just want to thank Councilman Murray and the council for this proclamation. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, next special presentation.
Proclaiming Mr. Edward V. Lepre, President and CEO of International Drug Detection, LLC, 200 Hickory Avenue in Harahan, as a 2012 Louisiana State Small Business Person of the Year.
Good afternoon. Unfortunately, Mr. Lepre couldn't be here tonight, but I'm going to read this proclamation for him. Ed Lepre, he owns the drug detection right on the corner of St. Cedar Drive and Hickory. Harahan resident, Harahan businessman, and he was honored with the Small Business Award, State Award of the Year, which is a wonderful honor. But most of y'all know I'm in many organizations which require fundraising, and Mr. Lepre is one of my go-to guys. He's done very well for himself, and he's very generous. And anytime I need money for turkeys or Christmas baskets, he's certainly one of the guys I hit first, and he never has turned me down. So not only being a smart, successful businessman, he's also very, very generous. I'm sorry, thank you, with his money and his things. So let me read this for him.
Hey, Lawrence, real quick, don't forget he does a lot with the Special Olympics.
Special Olympics. He's the man of the community, and I think most of us know him well. He's done a lot for the city. These things, let me just read some of it. I know they're kind of boring, guys, and it seems to be proclamation night. Whereas Mr. Edward Lepre, President and CEO of International Drug Detection, has been selected by the U.S. Small Business Administration as the 2012 Louisiana State Small Business Person of the Year. And whereas your hard work, innovative ideas, and dedication to your community have helped you succeed in driving our nation's economic growth. And whereas each year since 1963, the President issued a proclamation calling for the celebration of Small Business Week. National Small Business Week recognizes outstanding business owners for their personal success and contributions to our nation. As you know, more than half the Americans who work either own or work for a small business. That's true, because that's three right here. Whereas the flexibility of small business people is exemplified by their willingness to adapt to change, their determination to test untapped markets for new products and services, and their ability to contribute to the competitive marketplace in such a way as to improve efficiency, thus benefiting the consumer and spurring economic growth. Nothing categorizes the American economy better than small businesses. They should be a source of pride for all Americans. Now, therefore, I, Lawrence Landry, standing in for Mayor Vinnie Mosca, the City of Harahan, proudly proclaim Mr. Ed Lepre, President and CEO of International Drug Detection, 200 Hickory Avenue in Harahan, Louisiana, as the 2012 Louisiana State Small Business Person of the Year. So, give him a big hand, and congratulations, Ed. Glad to do it. And I'll get this thing.
Our last special presentation.
All right. The City Council would like to present a plaque to Mr. Patrick McDaniel.
Hi, I'm Councilman Tim Bodier, and I wanted to present this plaque to Councilman McDaniel. He came in and he sat interim for us for a little while, took 3 months away from his family. I told him it'd be a little bit of work. He got to see a few controversial things with Colonial, and I really would hope that the next election cycle that he comes back and does it again, and the plaque reads, presented to Pat McDaniel, our sincere appreciation for the time you have served on the Harahan City Council. Pat McDaniel.
It was an honor and a privilege, as much as a learning experience. the great city we live in. I do plan on staying involved in any way, shape, or form, especially into the future. So again, thank you all for allowing me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I wanted to introduce our newest councilman, Mr. Eric Chatelain. We had a special election on March 24th, and he won. And he's filling Mr. Paul Johnson's seat. So I wanted to say welcome, congratulations, Councilman Chatelain.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would anyone like to address the council?
Hey, guys. Got a phone call today about a first reading of an ordinance. It's going to be read about a change. Thought we did that already, but I'm going to read it now. The square footage allowed by the city of Harahan in general retail services occupying more than 10,000 square feet in floor area will be decided on a case-by-case basis upon the square footage requested on the original application to the City of Harahan. Also upon the review and recommendation decision of the requested square footage by the Harahan Planning and Zoning Commission, and upon the approval and final vote of the Harahan City Council on an ordinance permitting the use and square footage of the individual project application, subject to veto power by the mayor. So it seems we're back on this, even though I don't know if everyone remembers last week, Mayor Mosca had us all come here, and we all talked about things that we could do for Colonial. I actually left that meeting with a pretty good feeling, thinking, okay, well, maybe we can have a vote. He proposed having a vote, which now I know was not really what he was thinking. We also thought maybe putting a ballot at City Hall, and thinking maybe people could say whether they wanted commercial or whether they wanted homes or green space. But it seems that all the time, can anyone say who authored this ordinance that they're going to read?
No one has authored it right now.
Who writes this stuff?
The
Because,
mayor-
I mean,
the
are we...
mayor wrote this. Mayor wrote this.
The mayor wrote it. Okay, so it's basically, let's have a meeting, pay attention to what this hand is doing, but don't look at what this hand is doing. Because every time, but every time we get a call, this has everything to do with Colonial. This says 10,000 square feet.
Excuse me. Can we not have the exchange? Let's not exchange back.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
All right.
Chatelain.
If,
Outbreak is what Colonial wants to do. It really doesn't. As a person
But
that's
this
on this stuff, and I will explain it.
this in a sense says that 10,000 square feet on C1 commercial doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because all you guys have to do is make it 75,000, and the mayor can veto it. When it comes to a vote, I mean, I printed these out again. I mean, why do we need more and more commercial? I printed these out again. This is every municipality in the area. Jefferson Parish, I mean, it's West Wego, and it says what 10,000 square feet is. I mean, in a sense, you guys would be able to change C1 for anything. And then also, I looked at comprehensive zoning ordinance. I mean, every time we meet with Vinny, he says, oh, well, nothing's been brought before the council. But all of this stuff, we get told that, no, nobody wants commercial. But every time 10,000 square feet comes up, and all I hear is big box stores, it says there's a 1-year limitation. Now, I know nobody ever filed a petition, but it says when there's a 1-year petition is filed requesting and proposing a change into an amendment, that there's a 1-year waiting period. We talked about that with the lot that wanted to be subdivided. I didn't think that this was going to come up again.
I'll call you tomorrow, we'll talk about it, but it's not the place for it. It's only up for first.
But I think everybody needs to know about it. Why do we entertain this?
Well, we usually don't have an exchange during you addressing the council, so we've heard you, we appreciate it, and we'll
But
take it
the
into
people of
consideration.
Harahan want to know.
We can
That is
discuss-
why I want everyone to know that I'm
Mr. Cameron.
reinitiating The Harahan Civic Association that used to exist when all of this colonial stuff, but it went out of existence and people didn't take care of it. But I'm initiating it. If you'd like, you can email harahancommunity@gmail.com. We'll put you on a list, and we're going to find out what's going on in these meetings and why nobody knows. And at the last minute, we have a first reading, and next month we have a vote, and all of a sudden we have 75,000 square feet, and they said, well, that's what the law says we can do.
We
So-
appreciate your comments. At the next meeting, we can discuss it.
Email is available.
That's
Email us.
harahancommunity@gmail.com.
Thank you, Mr. Camry.
Good afternoon. Bill Stang. I live on Jefferson Highway right next to Mr. Camry. Yeah, it seems like we did this a while back. Just reiterating one more time, I was glad to see the Coast Guard was here because I felt like last time I was on a boat, I dodged that torpedo, but it's coming around again, and I think I'm sinking one more time. Unfortunately, they left, and I won't be able to be saved this time. But the bottom line is, we had this conversation about changing this particular ordinance several weeks ago or months ago. I lose track of time. Yeah, we are the only we're a small city, and the 10,000 square foot design, what they want to try to do in changing this is change it to be greater than 10,000, any limited amount. So any place in Harahan, I'm not saying Colonial, this is any place in Harahan, but I don't know where there's another place in Harahan that has a piece of property large enough to do a 75,000 or a 50,000 square foot building. I'm sure there is, I'm not that familiar with it. But the bottom line is this comes back to what we're trying to do at Colonial and so on and so forth. I just wish we'd be a little bit above board. If we're going to do an ordinance change, bring it out, let us know why we're doing this. Spell it out. Why are we doing a change up to 75 to 100 and some thousand square feet or 200,000 square feet? There's no limit on it. Once you pass this, it's the done deal. Now, I'm sure Colonial is being, right now is, what is it?
in bankruptcy.
Residential R1?
Yes, R1.
Yeah, so this is a step, it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse. We're going to change the square footage, then we're going to change the zoning, then we're going to build the building. And bingo, you've got it, because anybody's going to be able to approve it once this is approved as an ordinance change. It just seems like we're going back over the same old thing that we did a few months ago. Nothing has changed. Still have the same council members, the same politicians. One has changed, but it's just the politician is going to do what he wants to do, and not listen to the people. And that is why we're back around here again. Now you're shaking your head no, Lawrence, but we did this 3 months ago. And I know this is not a, I don't need you to say anything. I don't want to discuss it here because it's just me communicating right now. But we did this 3 months ago. Dana, I don't know how long ago was it. What was it?
It was October.
October. And everybody on the board at that time said, oh man, this is backdoor politics. We ain't gonna do this, and vote it down, table it, get rid of it. Now we're back on it again. And the spearhead of the person that's putting this back on the table is conveniently out on vacation this week. So it's just crazy. It's politicians doing what they want to try to do to appeal a small group of developing people. And the people that have to live with it is us. It's just not fair. There's no reason to do this. The city of Harahan is not designed for a 150,000 square foot building, period. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ray Thompson. I live at 185 McHugh Drive in Harahan. I also want to express my opposition to the introduction of this ordinance this evening. As I appreciate it, as it reads now, there is not a sponsor for the ordinance, and I would ask each and every one of you to not sponsor this ordinance tonight so that this debate does not continue to go on and on and on. 10,000 square feet is not appropriate in a C1 neighborhood commercial section. The appropriate way to do a proposal like this would be to have a zoning change on a particular piece of property. But 10,000 square feet is inappropriate in a C1 neighborhood. 10,000 square feet is 100 by 100. Now, that's the footprint of a building. The building would need parking area. It would need probably double that, 20,000 to perhaps as much as 30,000, depending on the use. That could get up to 100 by 300. That minimum size is the size of a football field. So that's what we're talking about, having the potential of a facility in a C1 neighborhood commercial facility. It's inappropriate, and again, I ask that none of you sponsor this for further discussion this evening. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to the council, Eric. My name's Kirk Talbot. I'm the state representative for this district. I just wanted to say hello. I have some young political leaders from El Salvador that are here admiring democracy at its finest and at the ground level, and that's what it should be. So I want to welcome them. My legislative assistant, Tia Russell, is also in the back. Just to give you a brief update on what we're doing in Baton Rouge, many of y'all probably followed in the newspaper. We're doing a lot of education reform, a lot of pension reform. I know those are very passionate issues, and the phone number for our office is 736-7299. So if anyone has any questions, I know there's been a lot of debate and a lot of talk about these bills. As usual, we're having budget issues. We're having some deficit. We have a deficit, so we're looking to again to shrink the size of the workforce, cut the fat where we can to get our budget under control. As many of you know, we have to pass a balanced budget by our Constitution, so which we will. And other than that, you know, we're dealing with the usual problems and the usual pieces of legislation. But as many of y'all know, again, education and pension reform has really dominated this session, and I think we're making some good progress. And I know we got some legislators up there working hard. I know we have some capital outlay projects that the mayor submitted for, and we're going to do the best to get money for that. And I would answer any questions if anybody has any questions for me.
Actually, Kirk, I was reading in the newspaper, there was 1,600 laws introduced.
Right.
1,600, that's a low number.
That is a low number.
What could y'all, or us, could we possibly be voting on? With more
Well-
rules, or these are just amendments to older rules? Or?
No, what happens with, you know, take the internet, for example. Every year, you know, we have to pass laws to keep up with technology. You know, whether it's sex offenders using the internet, sex offenders using Facebook, criminals using the internet, using cell phones in prisons, you know, that takes up a lot of it. A lot of it is renewing things that sunset, like the Department of Transportation. A lot of these things, they'll all sunset every 4 years. A lot of them honestly don't have a lot of substance. A lot of them are routine things. And plus, you know, if those 1,600 get filed, I would guess 1,300 may ever even see it on the committee level, and maybe a fraction of those will actually become law. But a lot of it is just right. A lot of it is just evolving technology. We have the Haynesville Shale up in northwest Louisiana, which is like the second largest natural gas find in America. It's a ton of legislation that has to deal with that because we just don't have laws about fracking and all the various ways that we can get that gas out. We may have, different incentives for businesses that are trying to come here. So there's a host of things. Medicaid, Medicare is always an issue that we have to deal with. So there's a lot of things. But if your question is, do we have a lot of laws that don't need to be filed? Absolutely. And we try to kill those on the committee level. And it is a light year, but it does seem like an awful lot of legislation. And but a lot of it is formalities, and some of it is some good legislation. Just the education and pension reform alone is probably a couple of dozen bills just dealing with that. Okay. Anyway, yes, ma'am.
Kurt, did you find any money for us?
I'm looking.
It
My
always needs a little.
my seatmate is the vice chairman of Appropriations Committee, so when he represents right next door. So we're going to look very hard to see about getting some of your capital outlay projects funded. I know Mayor Mosca has submitted some projects, and Ruby Noble with Jefferson Parish, has always doing a great job, and we're doing what we can.
And I guess our main concern really is the problem that we're having tremendous issues right now. A mushroom in the future with.
Right. 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 No, we're working hard, and I will keep you,
That's gonna be a big, big fight for us.
it is. It is. And again, I welcome y'all to come up. I believe it's every Wednesday. We have our Jefferson delegation lunch if you need to come up and see all the Jefferson delegation members, the representatives and the senators, and keep us informed on what's going on. But we're working very hard, and we have our green books that have all the projects listed, and we're going to do everything we can to get as many of those projects funded as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, I want to remind everybody to vote Saturday. I know, we have a few tax renewals on the books, and Sheriff Newell Norman obviously is very much for those, as am I, and I believe Chief Dickinson gets some money from the sheriff from those. So whichever way you vote, I just encourage you to vote. Thank you.
Just to respond about the 1,600, when they are making up the bills, if Kirk does a bill and Cameron Henry does a bill, Tony Legge, if they're doing the same bill, they can't tell them that somebody else is doing the bill, so a lot of that 1,600 is duplication also. Just thought I'd let you know.
Thank you, Tia.
Thank you. If you ever have a problem, Tia, she is the woman who knows how to get problems solved. We know who really runs that place.
Thank you, Tia. Would anybody else like to address the council? Madam Clerk,
Oh,
I'm Ralph Herman. I live at 8123 Huntley Lane. My wife and I have been having problems with coyotes eating our pets. As recently as 10 days ago, we've contacted the chief, and he's assured me that, they're doing everything they can. Contacted Jefferson Parish 911 service because they dispatch the Jefferson Parish sheriffs who do the eradication of coyotes, and I've got some help from them maybe. Contacted our representative with Jefferson Parish, Paul Johnson, and I've gotten a lot of support, but I haven't really seen any dead coyotes, and that's my issue. They're sneaking around and eating our pets. They see them as food, and when the pets are gone, they're allowed to be looking for our children and grandchildren. And we've had some issues with them last year where they were stalking children. I think there was an issue at Harahan Playground, and there was an issue around Winn-Dixie. I don't know what else I can say. I've had some signs made. I'm going to put them around. I assume that the parish is going to run around and pick up my signs when I put them out. It cost me $8 a piece, so if you see a sign that resembles a campaign sign but says Coyote Attack Area, they're my signs, so think about me, $8 a piece. So if you pick them up, think about me.
as long as they're on private property.
I would never do that. But if they happen to be there,
They will pick them up, though. I mean, I don't want you to lose your sign. Any residential, you can put anything you want.
I understand.
But I don't, right away, like the neutral ground.
But I want to make people aware in the city of Harahan that we're basically under attack by coyotes. You would not think that that's an issue. We shouldn't have to deal with it in an area like ours. But it's even worse. Now we don't have the country club. So they have a fairway to come all the way to Jefferson Highway. The river has been up. They're moving off the river Batcher looking for food. Thank you for your time.
Ed, would you like to,
I'm going to
Chief, do
chief
you
about
want
it.
to address that?
Ralph. Not that they're not trying, believe me.
Good evening. For those of y'all who remember last year, we had the same problem when the river rose. We had the coyotes came in here. We addressed that problem with the levee board through several different ways. One way is we educate the public, close your garbage can lids, bring your pets in, and please watch your children. They have this problem all over the country. We had the meetings here, if you remember, and the animal people came and said it's terrible to shoot the coyotes. and whatever else they said. But we had to. I mean, if we risk one child's life, it's not worth it. So we're out there. We went 3 times last week with Jefferson Parish, who are the best at this. They're used to doing it. Through Harry Lee, they used to shoot the nutria, so these guys are great. We have been eliminating the coyotes. We've gotten a few of them, and we continue to be out there until it remains a problem. But what I just want to tell the public is, see a coyote, report it to us, because usually they're going to come back to that area. That's where we know to go. Close your garbage can lids. Educate your children that these are wild animals. They're not friendly dogs. First one that myself and Major Najola shot, we ran up to the car as if it had been being fed before we eliminated it. So please watch your kids and report it to the police whenever you see them. Thank you, and I'll be up in a minute to my report.
Thank you, Chief. Madam Clerk, approval of the minutes?
Reading of the minutes of the council meeting on March 15th.
Motion.
Motion by Murray,
Second.
second by Bodier, to dispense the reading minutes of the City Council meeting March 15th. All in favor? Any opposed? 5 yeas, no nays.
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on March 15th.
Are there any corrections?
Sorry.
First by Murray, second by Bodier, to approve the minutes of the council meeting on March 15th. All in favor? Any opposed? 5 yeas, no nays. Madam Clerk, any communications?
The Board of Adjustments and Appeals did not meet in March, nor did the Planning and Zoning Board. Neither met in March.
Madam Clerk, resolutions?
Council, would you like to do this unanimously?
Yes. Unanimously?
Yes.
Okay, the council offered a unanimous resolution for the following. A resolution authorizing the execution of Amendment Number 1, which amends the existing engineering agreement with Meyer Engineers, Ltd., dated July 1st, 2009, for providing portable generators for emergency power and miscellaneous improvements at 14 existing lift stations to extend the engineering agreement to July 1st, 2014, or upon satisfactory completion of all services and obligations described herein, whichever event occurs first. Whereas there is an engineering agreement between the City of Harahan and Meyer Engineers dated July 1st, 2009, and whereas the extension of the contract is needed to cover the complete construction of the project. Now therefore be it resolved by the Harahan City Council, acting as governing authority of said city, that the Harahan Council does hereby authorize the execution of Amendment Number 1, which amends the existing engineering agreement with Meyer Engineers dated July 1st, 2009, for providing portable generators for emergency power and miscellaneous improvements at 14 existing lift stations to extend the contract to July 1st, 2014, or upon satisfactory completion of all services and obligations described herein, whichever event occurs first. Section 2, that the mayor is authorized to sign any and all documents necessary to give full force and effect to this resolution. The foregoing resolution having been submitted to a vote, the vote thereon was as follows.
For any discussion?
I can just briefly let everybody know the reason that why we're extending this, and I spoke with former mayor and councilman Carlo Herrera, that we've had to extend this because there was some complications due to bad weather, and also there were some wiring complications. And also, I believe Councilman Chatelain had gone over and spoken and has since done some investigative work and found some many errors that need to be corrected. So if he wants to add to that.
Yeah, we walked over the lift stations a couple days ago, and we have numerous errors which will be addressed. Electrical inspector and Representative Carlo, we all looked at this, and they're going to address these problems. That's why we need more time. Also, they have some parts that are back ordered. I do not believe we need this much time, but as it says, until we're satisfied. So I believe it'd be eliminated earlier than July 1st, 2014.
This one on Imperial Woods you're talking about?
All 14 lift stations.
Know anything about Imperial Woods?
Imperial Woods, the weather's actually holding that up because they need to coat the inside of the wet well. And I do know with the weather, the water's seeping in through the wet well, so they are not able to coat that until it dries up.
May I add to that also, I understand I had spoken with the contractor, who is the superintendent of the contractor who's on there, and he was explaining that when he received the, one of the generators, it was not up to the specifications. They sent it back and they were waiting for it. Now, whether or not that's happened yet or not, I don't know, but there was another complication in there too. Been changed,
Yeah, I believe that.
so that's back already. But that was one of the,
Get questions all the time about it. I know.
right.
Does anyone wish to address the council on the resolution? Madam Clerk, any ordinances for approval for
No,
public
motion.
hearing? Oh, motion?
Oh, motion.
It was unanimous.
It was unanimous.
Unanimous.
So we still vote?
vote.
Okay. All in favor?
Yay.
Any opposed? 5 yeas, no nays. Madam Clerk, any ordinances for public approval?
There are no ordinances for approval.
Ordinances for introduction, first reading.
Okay.
I would recommend that we put this off until next month so Mayor Mosca could be here, since for some reason people think we do stuff under the table.
Motion to defer.
Okay. An ordinance to amend ordinance number 1333, section 11, C1 Neighborhood Commercial District, section B Permitted Uses.
Motion to defer.
Second.
First by Murray, second by Bodier. All in favor? Any opposed? 5 yeas, no nays.
Till next meeting.
Yep. Old business?
No old business.
Anybody have anything?
No, so,
Madam Clerk, new business.
There are 2 positions to be filled on the Planning and Zoning Board. One's to replace Emil Maffey, and second one's a reappointment for Mr. Patrick Peppo.
Would like to nominate Patrick McDaniel to replace Emil Maffey.
Just so everyone knows, Mr. Emil Maffey has decided not to be on the board again. We do appreciate his time and service that he's given the city. So therefore, we have a nomination for Pat McDaniel.
That's
Any
correct.
other nominations?
The reappointment of Patrick Pepper.
Okay.
and I believe I'll have a nomination for next.
Okay. So are we voting tonight?
Yes.
No, you have to hold it over 30 days.
Okay, so
30 days
so
later.
because we'll have another nomination possibly next month, we'll defer to the next meeting?
No, we always defer.
And you vote next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in favor? Any opposed? All, 5 yeas, no nays. Would anyone else like to address the council? Secretary's report.
The Secretary's report for March. The revenues were $253,135.66.
Report, Chief Dickinson.
Good evening. I wanted to go over the crime statistics for last month. The number of calls for service we received was 910. The number of accidents we had in our city was 8. The number of citations we issued was 318. Of that, of 381 charges. No funeral escorts, 16 patrol requests. The number of arrests we made were 60. A total of 89 charges. Of that, 2 were traffic, 7 were felony, 74 were misdemeanors, and 6 were city. Crimes against property, these are the 11 categories that are covered under the Uniform Crime Report, the UCR. No murders, no rapes, no robberies, no attempted robberies, no residential burglaries, no non-residential burglaries, no attempted burglaries, no vehicle thefts, no attempted vehicle thefts. We had 9 larceny thefts and 12 assaults. The only other thing I wanted to mention is please remember to go out and vote Saturday. I mean, this is probably the safest city in the nation, yes, in my opinion. But but we want to continue to make it that way. It's not a new tax, it's a renewal tax. The people who benefit from this, there's all the local departments in Jefferson Parish: Kenner, Gretna, Westwego, Grand Isle, Lafitte, and Harahan. Nearly 10% of our budget comes from this renewal. So it's very, very critical source of funding. Please call your family, friends, neighbors, and ask them to please vote yes Saturday for this renewal. I'd also like to congratulate Councilman McDaniels. He did a wonderful job, and he did a great job supporting the police department, and we really appreciate that. And I'd like to congratulate Councilman Eric Chatelain on your win, and we look forward to working with you for many years with the police department. So, there's one other thing I'd like to say about the coyote tips. I promise this will be the last thing tonight. I'd like to thank Councilman Elton Lagasse, because with his generous donation, we were able to buy the equipment, the necessary equipment to continue to be out there and eliminate this threat, and we'll be out there until it's no longer a public safety matter. And have a good night, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you, Chief. Chief St. Cyr, any reports?
Just like to let y'all know that we have completed the field survey portion of our fire rating, and I feel very comfortable. Matter of fact, I feel very good about our rating. I think that we're going to more than likely maintain our 2 status, which is very good and very difficult to do. I had a discussion with Mr. Raby when he was in doing our thing, and he assured me that if we had the manpower, it would be a Class 1 department. That everything that we do as a company is right on line with what we should be doing, and manpower is our only holdback, which is very expensive. So I'm very comfortable. Hopefully, I'll get that officially from him in writing sometime in the next few days, and I'll have good news to report to you at the next meeting. It's nice that that's over.
Is this an annual?
It could be. It's every 5 years, definitely. They could do a surprise attack on us and ask us to be surveyed before then if they feel that it's necessary, or if there are any significant changes. If we have any layoffs or equipment goes out of service that we don't fix and repair and get back up, or there's anything drastic that happens with our water system, they can come back in at any time and raise. But we're ready for them any year that they come. If we do the same thing on an annual basis, we're in good shape. It would take about between 21 and 24 employees. That's more, right? Which is like $1.3 million. That's the same thing that I request.
It's like 2 or 3, Chief. I was going to be on your side here for a second.
We'll take anything in that direction we'll kindly accept. We would appreciate it. But it would basically be the same thing that I request on an annual basis in order to comply with the NFPA standards.
I was going to say you ask for it every year in budget, right?
Right. Yeah, and I understand
Our wish list.
the position that the city's in, and that's never going to happen. And I understand that, but it's incumbent upon
Never say
me.
never.
Right.
It would take a proposal to the citizens that I doubt that they would approve, but it would be nice to take. But I have a copy of the survey here, the questions that they ask us, and our response back to them. I'd be happy to sit down with any one of you at any time to discuss what it is that we do. It's very extensive, and they review all parts of our department. They review not just manpower, but our training, our hydrant inspections, all of our record keeping as far as hose testing, equipment and the maintenance and the pump test on the trucks, and pre-planning commercial structures. I also had a discussion with him because one thing that has concerned me for some time, and I've always let the regulatory directors know, and anybody who's ever been involved with potentially doing anything on Colonial's property, that if Colonial is ever developed in any sort of way, 6 hydrants, the magic number is now 6. Instead of 19, it is now 6. We sat down and reviewed that. We made the count. What it is when you have 120 hydrants that fall outside of that 1.5 mile radius from your station, that's when they require you to build a new station. And if you don't build that new station, then you just take a hit on the rate. They can't make us build a new station, they can only suggest it. We can either comply or not. But the magic number is we are only 6 hydrants away from being at 120 hydrants outside of that mile-and-a-half radius. At this point. So if any type of development was done, if they do any type of residential, if there's commercial development on the front, more than likely they wouldn't add 6 hydrants or even need to add 6 hydrants. But if there's any type of residential development, either in the back or in the front, in the middle, on the sides, that require the addition, and typically they put in these hydrants every 300 feet. So right now, from the front of Colonial to the entrance of Colonial, there's about 5 hydrants. So there are that many. So, which leads me to another thing citizens may notice, and I don't know if y'all have received any phone calls. We've been spending a little time as a fire company around Colonial. I've received a few calls. People have asked, what are we doing? And let's just say that our eyes are open and we're paying attention. That is an awfully big building that is empty at this point. Not to bring that to, kids, school will be letting out. Kids are curious. I wanted to make sure that our plan was in place and we knew exactly what we wanted to do as a company and how we were going to handle that structure if it ever was to go. We've been doing water supply testing in that area. We know that we're deficient in water. I mean, we would need about 4,500 gallons a minute, and all we're going to get back there is about half of that after a whole bunch of relaying water back there. So we know that we're behind the ball already, and that there's no way to, I've contacted the city of New Orleans, or the port of New Orleans, to get a fireboat, but by the time that would get here and we'd run that water over, it'd be too late anyway.
I asked that. I mean, I guess there's technology where you could use the natural water comes to a boat. That's where the pump would be.
That would be that. Well, we would. The water supply that we need exists in large diameter hose on the highway that was intended for commercial development. When that area was developed, that was really, other than the club being there, when they ran the water supply, it was intended that it would be residential development. We have the water supply back there for the residential properties that are there. But when you're talking about a piece of property as big as that, and the fire flow that's necessary, the water supply wasn't designed for that. We can get that water from other areas. I would have to have at least 4 pumps in a relay getting water from the corner of Jefferson Highway. And I'll let the citizens know, don't be surprised if you don't see 4 fire trucks pull up there and there's no fire, because we're going to do this in training. We're going to run hose all the way up Colonial. We're going to go back there and we're going to flow water. I've flowed water and gotten all of my gallonage off of the hydrants that are back there already. And we're going to need, if we're going to do elevated master stream and
Can't put a hose in the river and suck the water. I mean, that's not.
No, and I can't count on putting the pumps on the golf course either to get it, because if it's been raining like it has lately, we'll sink the truck, so we won't even get to the water.
But when you're talking about the water, are you talking about the river?
Well,
You're actually talking about the ponds.
Yeah,
You were talking about the
ponds
river.
right there, but I'm talking about, I was just thinking if there must be
That
some sort
front
of
pond
technology
would
that
suck
does
dry
that.
in no time
With
flat
no time,
anyway.
right.
There are some
Right.
other ponds that kind of flow together, and, I'm sure there's other people that
Those little
know more
ponds
about
that get
this
sucked
system.
dry quick. And those kind of gallons you're talking about.
I mean, I'd be flowing 1,250 gallons a minute off my aerial device. A structure like that too, you would typically, if it does get going, and we know we're behind the ball on it already, we have to hope that the sprinkler system works. I mean, that's our shot, is to get there. My first truck is absolutely committed to the sprinkler system. We have the water supply off the hydrant right there to handle it. And that's how we gotta hope that we stop it. If it gets beyond that, we're gonna be struggling to
Do we know the sprinklers are on?
But I wanted to ask you, do you do
even-
testing in the building to make sure that the sprinkler system?
We have not
working?
since it's been closed. I would like to. But typically, the water stays on. I know the water is still on over there. But typically, even once a piece of property like that is abandoned, they won't cut the water off, especially for that.
Right, that's key, not to turn the water
So
on.
you'll get water flow off of the parish pressure immediately. Of course, it's going to need, that system would need us to supplement it. And, we have our plan in place. All of our guys, I brought each crew out there one at a time, and we did some training with them and explained to them exactly how I want things to set up and how I expect it to go. I have people already assigned to handling the different functions that we would need to do, organize them. We know exactly how we want the trucks to come in, where they're coming from. And
It's great. It's great forward thinking.
yeah, we've put quite a bit of time into it lately, so I didn't want the people in the area to be nervous. I just wanted them to know that we've been on top of it. Not expecting anything bad to happen, but with a big building like that, empty, kids getting out of school, it does raise our eyebrows and concerns.
Do they have
I'd
a
love to
jockey
have it
pump,
occupied.
jockey pump in that building? Keep up with that sprinkler system?
That I don't know, Eric. I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that
Electricity's
they
cut
have
off.
that, well, like, that's true, there is no electricity.
Thank you, Chief Sincere.
Yes, thank you.
Chief
Getting a lot
Dickinson?
of calls, I know that we've discussed this numerous occasions, number of people who are going on clone. Is there any way that this bankruptcy defense around it? Because really, we've upped the patrols, I know everyone sees the police. A lot of proactive patrols, we even have some covert operations to try to get some of these that are continuously trespassing on that.
That's a great idea. I guess it comes up
We
to
certainly
what's the
can't.
cost
I
of
mean, we
it
can't
and who
afford
pays for
I
it.
drove by, somebody was swimming.
But I'm saying, as soon as we get out there and respond, then someone else, so.
I think that the property owner, whoever that is, to be able to put up.
If we could identify the property owner.
Yeah, if we could identify the property owner, but part of the problem is the city wouldn't have any money and we wouldn't accept that liability to put a fence in the first place. I think that'd be the property owner's property owner is, want to make sure that their
Protect
liability.
it, protect his
They
liability.
protect their liability to have something like that.